Supported by LA County Regional Centers.
Car accident? At Jacoby & Myers, when we get justice for you, it can make a big difference in your life. Here's what that means. Insurance offer, $35,000. The Jacoby & Myers result, $500,000. Insurance offer, $0. Our result, $2 million. Insurance offer, $100,000. Our result, $4.65 million. That's the difference experience makes. Jacoby & Myers, because everyone deserves justice.
Clippers, Magic, tonight at 6 on KTLA.
Broadcasting across California with Nikki Lorenzo. This is Inside California Politics.
Glad you're with us this week. I'm Nikki Lorenzo in Sacramento. On the show today, we are doing a deep dive into our exclusive poll out this week with our partners at Emerson College and The Hill. We have numbers on the governor's race, how voters feel about the current governor, Governor Newsom, and what people see as the most important issues. So here to help us break down all of that data and what it means, Rob Stutzman and Andrew Acosta. Andrew is a veteran Democratic strategist and founder of Acosta Consulting, and Rob Stutzman, longtime Republican strategist and founder and president of Stutzman Public Affairs. All right, lots to talk about, guys. Thanks for being back here. So, governor's race, you know, we have a front runner in Steve Hilton. Since it's a Republican, Rob, I'll start with you. There are lots of polls coming up, and when you saw this specific poll, what stuck out to you?
What sticks out to me is that name ID is still coin of the realm, that Tom Steyer is the only candidate that has spent a lot of money, and he has spent a lot of money, and he still is not in double digits, according to this poll, so his money may not really be working to elevate him. You still have a potential top two Republican scenario. I think unlikely, but certainly you can't write that off yet. And interesting about Hilton, when you look deeper in the poll, his lead over Riverside Sheriff Chad Bianco, the other prominent Republican, comes from independents, which would explain why Mayor Matt Mahan and he may have clashed in that first debate. Because I think they're both going to be vying for independence in June.
So what about you? What did you see in terms of the Democrats?
You know, I think this is the latest in a series of polls that have people sort of maybe getting out ahead of the other candidate by 2 points. It's all margin of error in the poll. I think to Rob's points, there are a couple things that stood out. 22% of Democrats are still undecided. So I do feel like there's a large swath of the vote that's up for grabs. And 30% of independents, according to this poll, are undecided. And back to Rob's point, I think Mahan is a candidate that would probably position himself more as someone that independents would look at versus hardcore progressive Democrats who have they have 3 or 4 other choices in the race.
And when you mentioned the San Jose mayor, he's running on this message of an outsider. Sacramento needs someone like that. The special interests are running this town, and this sort of moderate message. And we've had conversations over the past year about what this race, in terms of the issues, what it would be about. Would it be about Trump? Would it be about California issues? Is the Democratic Party looking for a Matt Mahan, a moderate right now?
Well, I think that's what we're gonna see. You know, I think Antonio Villaraigosa has an ad about ICE raids and how he's gonna take on ICE, and I think he's trying to see if he can break through with his limited budget. Matt Mahan's talking about issues, not as much about ICE, and I guess we'll see as this plays out. And it's an outsider message, but it's a message of somebody who's the mayor of San Jose and can point to real things that he's achieved in the short time that he's been mayor. He can just say, look, I've cleaned up homeless here and got people off the streets and got them into services, and I think that's what voters are looking for.
Do you think anyone should pay attention to the fact that he came in at like 3.5%? I mean, he announced late, and no one's really spending money other than Steyer.
Well, the poll shows the starting line for Mahan, which is, like 3-4%. So until there's money that comes in behind him to boost that, he's going to stay there. I think, I think we agree in that we see a lot of room potentially for him to move. Sure, he's the moderate, but he is the moderate in a field with a lot of progressives, or the one other moderate candidate, Antonio Villaraigosa, to Andrew's point. He's on TV trying to shore up core Democrats by attacking, Trump's ICE. So, look, there's a lane there. Is it a majority of the Democrats right now? Maybe not. But that may